Well, it is officially 12:01, so I'll go ahead and ring the bell to start us off. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful sunshiny day. Welcome to the March 11th, 2021 Rotary Club of Newport meeting. Today is the 70th day of 2021. Hard to believe that we're that far into the year already. So to start things off, would someone like to lead us in the pledge, please?
I'll do it, Freddie.
Okay, thanks, Richard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Richard. Nicely done. Let's see, do we have any guests aside from our speakers here today? I don't see any, but it's hard to see all the little box.
I think we have one student of the month, Kylie Carver.
Okay, welcome, Kylie. Thanks for joining us today. So a couple announcements before we get into things, and then I'll call for other announcements if anyone has them. Yesterday, we had another great vocational lunch noon meeting featuring Sylvia Polly. We got to learn about Sylvia, and that was a lot of fun. And then I think next month's is, Diane, you might have to help me out on this. When's the next vocational lunch meeting, and who is that one?
It's April 14th, and John Zago will be presenting.
All right, should be another good one. So hope you can join us for that one. So this week we're celebrating World Rotaract Week, and a lot of people probably don't realize this, but our district has 4 Rotaract clubs. The first is at University of Oregon Rotaract. One of their recent projects was to clean up the trash at Alton Baker Park, and they've got an annual trivia fundraiser that they're hosting on Friday, May 7th. And the proceeds from that fundraiser will benefit the White Bird Clinic, which is a local clinic dedicated to promoting equality in healthcare and for humans, not birds. The next Rotaract is Oregon State University Rotaract Club. They recently gathered food for their local food bank and volunteered at the Vina Moses Center, which is a local relief organization in Corvallis. And they're also working on a program to help tutor kids virtually. And then the third Rotaract in our district is Southern Oregon University Rotaract. They just finished their annual fundraiser where they raised $2,000 for Shelter Box. And then the last Rotaract in the district is No Borders Rotaract Club, E-Club actually. And they have projects all over the world, including a project in Kenya currently. And one of their recent projects included raising funds to help install 30 solar light packages on the Navajo reservation in northern New Mexico. So the Rotaract clubs in our district are sure doing some great things, and just like our Interact Club does here locally. So World Rotaract Week this week. Does anybody else have any announcements that they'd like to mention before we get further into the program and things? I don't see any hands.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's Laura. We had a Membership Matters meeting today, and we wanted to bring up to all of our Rotarians that if you know people who would be who you think would be great Rotarians, who would be interested in active members of Rotary, to please share their names with myself or Sonia or Diane or Mary Kay, so we can reach out to them. Reach out to them.
All right.
Thank
you, Laura. Appreciate that. So I have a few things from today in history. It's always kind of fun to look back and see what happened on a particular day of our meetings. And, you know, going back a long ways today, there wasn't a whole lot of really striking things that happen. You know, some weeks there are a bunch, and some there aren't many. But you know, one of the big ones for today wasn't that long ago. Actually, March 11th, 2020 was the day that everything changed here in the US. Because on that day, the pandemic future arrived all at once. March 11th last year was a Wednesday. Joe Biden had won primaries the night before in Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, and Missouri, putting him on a path towards clinching his party's nomination. Bernie Sanders said he was staying in the race despite his disappointing results in the primaries. The big news in the morning, and what was expected to be the top headline of the day, was the sentencing of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. Sitting in a Manhattan courtroom, Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison for rape and sexual abuse. 2 days earlier, stocks had tumbled in reaction to Saudi Arabia cutting the price of oil, spurring the market's worst drop since 2008. And the coronavirus, which had already sparked lockdowns in China and Italy, had become a major concern here in the US too. Dr. Fauci was called on this day a year ago to testify about the coronavirus before the House Committee on Oversight and Reform. Observers in the chamber sat shoulder to shoulder, and there was not a mask in sight. Committee Chair Carolyn Maloney asked, "Is the worst yet to come, Dr. Fauci?" To which he replied, "Yes, it is." And boy, was he right. Coincidentally, the very next day was also our last in-person Rotary meeting at the Best Western in Agate Beach. And also coincidentally, that program of the last in-person meeting was our four-way test speech contest, which we're holding today. So amazing how things have changed in 1 year and how impactful this day was a year ago. So good news is things are looking up. I understand that Lincoln City Rotary is now getting back to meeting in person, and hopefully we won't be too far behind. So things are looking up. So with that, let's see. Does anybody else have any announcements before we turn it over to the Sergeant at Arms? Looks like it's all you, Bob.
Well, hello there, Rotarians.
Hi, Big Bob.
That's pretty darn good. That was real good. Nice to see everybody again. It looks like we're a little low on numbers. Clara, are you on there, Clara Little? I guess she's not there. But
Yes, I am. I had to
you
unmute.
are.
Give me a chance. Yes,
Clara Little, where are you?
I'm where the boats are.
Oh, wow. Well, everybody says that you're at most of the meetings, and I didn't know that, but I do now.
Well, darn it. You need to pay attention. It says my name right there.
I see it, Clara. Take it easy. Hey, you had a birthday in your family just the other day.
I did. It was a wonderful birthday.
Well, how old are you? Oh, that's right. It wasn't you, was it?
It wasn't me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How old is Ray?
None of your business.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But I will donate $100 to the Rotary Foundation and $10 to the club.
Well, by golly, Clara, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And it's nice talking to you again.
It's nice talking to you. I saw you in the store the other day and you looked at me like I was a stranger. So that's fine.
Well, that's because you had a mask on.
Well, so did you, but I recognized you, Bob.
Was it my head or was it my eyes?
It was your eyes, Bob.
Okay, well, it's nice talking with you again, Clara. You
All
kind of
right.
got me off guard there a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are there
Bye.
any other happy dollars out there?
Hey, Bob, this is
Yeah.
Guy.
Hi, Guy.
Yeah, I'm $12 happy because I don't know if you were watching last Sunday, but I think Oregon was playing Oregon State in a basketball game. And if we won that game, we would be the Pac-12 champions. And I believe we kind of beat Oregon State. And so, well, let's make it $24 happy because we were also the Pac-12 champions for football, as I recall. And
Yeah, with that, you can't take credit for that.
well, and then
Yeah, let's not talk about the football season, Guy. Let's just put an asterisk next to that.
hey,
Yeah, there
hey,
you go.
let's make it $25 because the Oregon track team is rated #1 in the nation at the moment. And believe it or not, we have 5 guys on this team that have run under a 4-minute mile, which is totally unheard of. So I'm good for $25, Bob.
Well, you know, I'm going to match that $25 because I was happy to see our girls basketball team beat Oregon twice in 5 days. What do you think of that, Guy?
I was watching.
You were speechless is
They're a
what you
good
want to
team.
say. You were speechless. Lola,
I think they'll do well in the tournament.
I hope so. I'm glad there's
Hey
going to
there,
be a
Big
tournament.
Bob.
Sonetta's not around, is she? No, Sonetta. Lola?
I'm the next best thing. How you doing?
Yeah. Oh no, you're super. What rock group has 4 guys that don't sing?
Ooh, wow. 4 guys that don't sing. Well, you know, the first thing that came to mind is Kiss, because there's 4 guys that don't sing very well, but that wasn't exactly what you asked me. So I'm gonna have to turn to the expert, Bob. Who's that?
Well, I happen to be the expert. The 4 guys in a rock group that can't sing, they call Mount Rushmore.
Ha, 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 ha.
Now that was funny. That was funny. Now,
You got the dad jokes down.
thanks, Lola. That's the last time I ask you. Hey, Laura,
Yeah.
will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you get in touch with me? We have to have a talk.
We have to have a talk about what?
Don't be like that. Just give me a call or text me.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
I have
would
happy
appreciate
dollars
that.
though.
What's that?
I have happy dollars.
Well, let's hear about your happy dollars.
We're buying a house.
Oh my gosh.
We are the house that we've been renting the last year. We're in the process and it's supposed to close the middle of April, mid to late April. So we're staying. We're not going anywhere. So you guys are stuck with us for a while.
Well, if you're going to get stuck with somebody, you're a good person to get stuck with, I would say.
Thank you,
Well,
Bob.
good. Congratulations. Yeah.
I'll reach
And
out
we
to
can
you.
hardly wait to have the housewarming.
Yes, I can't wait till I can have people over my house because I like to
Oh,
entertain.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's good. Julia Carlson's not here. Richard O'Hearn. Richard,
Yes,
are you
Bob,
there?
I'm here.
Why can I never find anyone? Where are you, Richard? Richard.
I'm waving my hands. I'm trying to.
Oh, there you are. There you are. I found you. You had a little bit of good news here the other day, didn't you? Richard.
I think so, but specifically, which one? The good news, or what should I remember?
Well, didn't you have an anniversary?
I did. Yes, I did. I did. Celebrated 28 years of joyful, blissful marriage.
Uh-huh. And you couldn't remember what your happy occasion was.
I know. I'm sorry. It did blend in with some other things. So yeah. So I'll be $28 happy for my Paul Harris.
What about your memory lapse for your anniversary?
How about another $5 for that?
That'll do it. That'll do it. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Anybody else have happy bucks?
Hey, Bob, Matt Spangler here.
Strangler.
Yes. I'm happy because last week, Barb and I became grandparents.
Oh,
Our daughter, Allie, had a baby girl on Friday. Her name is Summer Riley Ellingson, and she weighed in at 8 pounds, 15 ounces. So she's a big girl.
Whoa.
I think she's going to be a basketball player.
Well, good. You know where to send her.
Yes.
Mom and baby are doing fine, I take it.
Everybody's doing great. Yep.
Well, that is good news, and
So-
congratulations, Grandpa.
Thank you. And so I'm $100 happy toward my Paul Harris.
Wow. Well, good for you. Anybody else? Let's see. Forgetta's not there. Nobody's here. Well, good. All right. Well, with that, I'll turn it back over to Freddie. And thank you very much, Rotarians, for your generosity.
All right, thank you, Bob. Nice work. And I've got to match Guy's contribution for the same reason. So another $25 in happy bucks. And I missed the girls' games. Darn it. I heard they were good, but have to watch the recordings, I guess. So yeah, boy, some great happy bucks, and glad to hear of all the good things going on out there. That's exciting. So today's program is the annual four-way test. As I mentioned, that was actually our last live and in-person physical meeting. This year we're doing things differently, obviously, because of the circumstances. Hopefully the finals will be in person and live. The kids will be competing for some really good district level prizes. The top prize is $3,500. And I think it goes down to $1,500 for third place. Here at the club level, we have $300 for first place that we award and $200 for second. So both of our contestants today are going to walk away with some prize money, which is exciting. And we're also able to send 2 to the semifinals for the district. So our 2 speakers today will both be invited back for the semifinals for district level, which we'll do the same way that we're doing here today over Zoom. So a little background on the four-way test and the contest. From the earliest days of the organization, Rotarians were concerned with promoting high ethical standards in their professional lives. One of the world's most widely printed and quoted statements of business ethics is the four-way test, which was created in 1932 by Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor, who later served as Rotary International President. When he was asked to take charge of a company that was facing bankruptcy, this 24-word test for employees to follow in their business and professional lives became the guide for sales, production, advertising, and all relations with dealers and customers. And the survival of the company is credited to this simple philosophy. Adopted by Rotary in 1943, the four-way test has been translated into more than 100 different languages and published in thousands of ways. It asks the following 4 questions of the things we think, say, or do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? So one of the great things about the four-way test contest in our district is that it's open to high school students all throughout the district. And this year we have quite a few that are participating. And it really promotes those Rotary values that we all hold so dear. And I think it's a great thing, you know, to get the word out. And it's also a great way to promote Rotary in general to the community. So this year, even though we can't do it in person, the test will go on, and it is today. So what we'll do is we select the speakers kind of on a random basis. So we're going to use Sonia's wheel here in just a minute. But before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit about the judging criteria so everyone knows kind of how we judge. And to that end, we have 4 judges that are judging today, and they're the same judges that were judging last year, so they're experienced with the process. But our judges this year are Keith and Diane Nelson, Marcia Buckley, and Kathy Heater. So this is the basic judging criteria. 3 judges and 1 timekeeper will be used at each level of competition. So it's the same format for the local level that we're doing here today, along with the district semifinals and then the finals. It's a 100-point system broken down into 5 categories. The first is incorporation of the 4-way test. 0 to 20 points is the test clearly included in the speech. Content is up to 25 points. Effective application of the 4-way test to reality. Is the speech relevant? Use of originality, creativity, and sophistication. The third is organization, 0 to 25 points. Is the body orderly and logical? Transitions, introduction, and conclusion. Delivery is the fourth, which obviously kind of changes here on Zoom as opposed to in person, but like I say, we'll just do our best. And then time limit, the speech should be within the 5 to 7 minute time limit. So Keith, Diane, Marcia, and Kathy will be tallying those things up as our speakers give their presentations, and I think they're really going to be great this year. I've seen the written speeches, or you know, a little bit of what they're going to be talking about, and I think they're both fantastic. So with that, Sonia, would you spin the wheel to see who goes first? If you can share your screen.
I will. I just unfortunately hit the button, so I'm gonna hold on just a second. Now, okay, now we'll start. There we go. I put everybody's name in there 12 times. So.
Oh.
Samiha.
Right, Samiha is our winner. So what we'll do also, we'll go through the speeches, and actually to give the judges time to tally everything up, I was hoping to induct another new Rotarian, but I don't think she's with us today. So we'll figure out something else to do in the meantime. But anyway, we'll also introduce the speakers after the speeches. So Samiha will give you an introduction and allow you to tell us a little bit about yourself after your speech. So if you're ready, go ahead and take it away. Good luck.
Thank you. So can you guys hear me or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Into a room you walk and at a desk you sit. Your ears, huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I'll just start over if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Into a room you walk and at a desk you sit. Your ears pick up the sounds of laughter, and as you divert your attention, you realize that an offensive joke was made towards a particular group of people. You start to wonder if it would be worth getting concerned about, as no one seems to be partially affected. Besides, it's all just a joke. Or is it? Application of the 4-way test will show if discriminatory humor regarding minorities is of genuine worry. The first step asks for the truth, and the truth explains how simple comments can truly start a chain of hate. That much is seen when the rise of racism against Asian Americans within this past year is accounted for. The NYPD reported that hate crimes against Asians jumped 1,900% in New York City in 2020. Stop AAPI Hate, a reporting database, received 2,808 reports of anti-Asian discrimination between March and December of 2020. This hatred mostly comes from how Asians wrongfully fell under the blame for COVID-19. In relation, a rise in anti-Asian humor was seen in the media, and a lot of such insults were the last thing targeted Asian Americans heard before getting attacked. Although hate crimes seem more out of the ballpark when compared to jokes, it's crucial to understand that even the smallest comments act as fuel. One remark becomes a tidal wave of people encouraging various harmful stereotypes, causing the attitudes towards certain groups to shift. It then comes down to some people to bring forward heavily harmful behavior towards said targeted groups, with the influence of this hate. Such is seen towards Asian Americans, pointing to the truth behind how jokes don't stay jokes. On top of all of that, the presence of fairness is not seen, as evidently nothing is fair for people that are the punchline. In addition, those who light the fire aren't necessarily at an advantage either. A friend of mine recently voiced how the environment he was raised in let such humor slide right by. Back then, he didn't see anything to be wrong, as it was all just for laughs. With time, however, he befriended a more diverse array of people. It was then he realized the impact his past humor had. It went beyond jokes, he said. Over time, I genuinely saw people differently than the normal reality and was desensitized in a way. End quote. Although he may not have meant to be prejudiced, he had fallen into the grasp of consequences. This raises concern for people who fail to realize the weight of their words. It isn't fair to not hold people accountable for something that could have major impact and influence on their attitude and judgment towards others, and it isn't fair to let that grow into something that could directly harm a minority group. Although humor can be a great way to spread goodwill and promote better friendships, that ideal is not met with its offensive side. A research project led by Thomas E. Ford, a psychology teacher at Western Carolina University, provides evidence on if sexist humor affects men's perception of women. In this, participants read either sexist jokes, plain sexist statements, or neutral jokes, and were asked to voice how much money they'd be willing to donate to a women's organization. Conclusions state that men were less likely to donate after reading sexist jokes. Results were opposite for men that just read sexist statements or neutral jokes. Next, participants were shown video clips from either sexist or non-sexist comedy skits and were asked to determine how funding cuts should be distributed among student organizations. Men that were shown sexist skits held views against women by wanting larger funding cuts to a women's organization than they did to other groups. They also believed that other participants would think the same. This goes to show that one's perception can indeed foster malicious tendencies depending on the type of humor exposed to them, meaning discriminatory humor may increase disparities between people, which is the farthest thing from the stimulation of goodwill and harmony. Benefits also fail to appear, as those affected by such humor don't receive any, and outside of getting in some laughter, those who start the films have the same fate. Previously, we saw how discriminatory humor is seen to warp the perceptions of those who indulge in it. This could lead many to face obstacles in their daily life, not to mention in professional settings, due to their further prejudiced mindset. Minority groups affected by those who carry such biases end up suffering, and as earlier evidence shows, become the victim of threat and demise. In the end, no one is benefited. So alas, our ride ends with how the four-way test is failed when applied towards discriminatory humor. The depth and harm that lies beyond a laugh is seen. The truth emerges when the ripples of certain remarks later encourage hate crimes to occur. Fairness fails to show on either side, as ignorance within the jokester is seen to harm themselves along with others. Disparities within pools of people form due to the destructive views fostered by such humor, and that falters the blossoming of goodwill and friendships. Thus, no benefits are seen on either side of the road. The 5 seconds of haughtiness and being a self-proclaimed edgelord are not worth its consequences. Moral of the story, get better humor, folks. Thank you.
Wow, great job, Samiha. Let's give her a round of applause. That was great. All right. Our next contestant is Daisy. I'll turn it over to Daisy.
Awesome. I'm going to stand up really quick because for me, it's weird to do speech sitting down. I've never done that. Okay. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay, awesome. Before I begin, I would like to thank Rotary for allowing me this opportunity to give the speech. I have never woken up and questioned where my next meal would come from. I've never had to stay home from school to take care of my siblings because my family didn't have the financial resources for daycare. I have access to a computer, and while my Wi-Fi is sometimes not great, it's mostly due to the rural area I live in. Although these scenarios are not the case for everyone. My name is Daisy O'Hearn. I'm 18 years old and a senior at Newport High School. Today, I'm here to address a national dilemma, the effects poverty has on education, and I will put it to the Rotary 4-way test. During this global pandemic, my eyes were open to the differences in education system based on one's socioeconomic status. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? My best friend's education is different than mine. Her access to tools and resources are limited. She struggles with barriers I did not realize existed until recently. She is not alone. Students who fall below the poverty line often have a different educational experience than the others, and in this global pandemic did not help but rather heighten those issues. Is it the truth? As I sit at my desk hours on end doing homework like any normal senior in high school should be, she is caring for her siblings from morning till dark while her parents are working. She is now faced with helping her two siblings with their online education while her own suffers. She cannot put 100% effort into her education because her siblings need her to care for them. While I learn how to write a case brief to further my goals of becoming a lawyer, she does not have the same opportunities because her family's Wi-Fi cannot accommodate the number of people trying to use it at the same time. Every single day for nearly a year since the start of COVID, she struggled with logging onto class. Every class she has joined, 7 classes a day, 5 days a week, she is not able to turn on her camera because her computer cannot handle it. She cannot talk through the mic because she won't be understandable. She often finds herself booted from class because she misses vital information. It is true that living in poverty changes your education, not only at my high school, but this is true in high schools all across America. That is the truth. It is real, and it is a problem we as a society need to address. Is it fair to all concerned? According to the 2012 census, 14.7 million, or 20% of children in America, live below the poverty line. 20% of students in this country. Let me say that again. 20% have an altered or unequal education because poverty does not only affect them in their home, but it affects their education. Students in poverty have bigger problems than learning calculus or reading Shakespeare. They have to figure out how to survive the everyday hurdles that some of us don't have to think about. How to feed themselves, how to get technology or Wi-Fi to be able to learn. When students are faced with these struggles, it's understandable that their education cannot be their first priority. When we had in-person school, the Lincoln County School District made it a priority to feed children through the free and reduced lunch programs because they knew a hungry student did not learn as well as a student whose stomach is not empty. When the pandemic hit and in-person schooling ended, feeding these children became a lot more difficult. It's not fair to all concerned that a student's education is altered because they struggle with hunger. Inequality in education is not fair to all concerned. I think we all can agree that every child deserves the same education, same resources, and the same opportunities. One example of this solution to this growing problem is how my school took action at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. My school understood the importance of getting food in the homes of students who might be facing hunger. They implemented a delivery system by utilizing the school's buses, and with the help of staff and volunteers, they continue to distribute lunches to students in my county. Bringing food to the students, even though they aren't coming to school, helped eliminate the barrier of hunger. They made this program available to every single student. This was a huge undertaking during a global pandemic. I believe other schools should be prioritizing free and reduced lunches because kids go home and never eat. While I look forward to the weekend, some kids are scared because school is the only place where they get food. Our educators knew the importance of feeding the students, and this did benefit all to concerned. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? How would it be possible to build goodwill and better friendships if a student's education is negatively affected due to their family's income level? I'm not trying to degrade anyone who doesn't have these same obstacles that a person in poverty may face, but acknowledge the importance of addressing these problems. By being a part of the solution, it will help build goodwill and better friendships. I myself was unaware of the differences between my best friend's education and mine until COVID forced me to be in a Zoom class setting. When a student is fighting basic barriers like access to Wi-Fi or having the needed technology devices, it should not come at the cost of their education. This spring, nearly 56 million K-12 students in the US attended school online. According to a 2020 census, more than 9 million of those school children had trouble attending school due to lack of technology or Wi-Fi. Michelle Obama once said, "For me, education is power." That quote allows us to understand that depriving students of this power will punish their future and their inability to succeed like everybody else. The education opportunities are not equal. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? It is not beneficial to all concerned if students aren't given the same opportunities to gain an equal education. As a community, we need to do better, and our youth will do better if they see a bright future and if they're given a strong foundation of learning. In my high school, we are taught to be critical thinkers, and if some of us don't have the opportunity to gain these skills, then it most definitely will not be beneficial to all concerned. If we were able to apply the Rotary 4-way test to our education system and use it as a moral compass, we could absolutely improve the education for all students. School districts could strive to come up with solutions to improve and remove some of these barriers I have discussed. Giving students the tools and resources to combat their struggles could only improve their education. I hope someday no child will have to go through what my best friend went through. No one should have to fight for an equal education. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? These questions should bridge the gap between an unequal education and income level.
Oh, another great job. Let's give Daisy a hand. Good job. Wow. You know, we're going to be well represented in the district competition for sure. So the judges are going to confer, hopefully virtually somehow, and then they'll come back to us and we'll let everyone know the results. But I thought in the meantime, like I said,
hey, can you tell them that the judges, we have a breakout room ready for the judges if they want to go in there.
Oh, okay. How do I get there?
Well, are you a judge in Lincoln County? Have you ever been on Zoom before?
Only if my daughter helps me.
Okay. So hit the breakout room below. On the bottom, it says breakout room.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
And go to the judges room.
Oh my God, I can't see it. Oh, here it is. Here's, I think it's here.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
yeah, so I think we have Keith, and yeah, it looks like they went too. So I think it worked. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Love it when a plan comes together. That's great. So I was going to induct a new Rotarian, but I don't think she's here today. So we'll just fill the time a little bit. But I wanted to go back to our contestants, and let's start with Samiha. And Samiha, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your plans for the future and so forth?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I'm Samiha Mahmood. I'm a sophomore at Newport High School. I decided to do this contest because I just thought it was such a good opportunity to kind of like voice like a problem that a lot of people face. For the future, I want to go to a four-year university. I'm hoping to study either neuroscience or psychology because both of those topics hold like a lot of interest in me, and I hope I get there. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Samiha. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Samiha? I thought the topic was really relevant. I thought both of them were. They're really great topics. How about Daisy? Same thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your plans.
Yeah, absolutely. I will graduate in June with my honors diploma and 6 IB certificates. My dream is to go to a four-year university, then work towards my Juris Doctorate to become a lawyer. And then after that, I hopefully will work with a firm or nonprofit pursuing my job as being a lawyer. And I am just wanting to continue community service and advocacy through public speaking and community service events.
Great. Yeah, your topic was also spot on. I thought that was great. So thanks again, both of you, for joining us today. And like I say, you'll both be able to represent Newport in the semifinals since we're able to send two. So I think we're definitely going to be well represented, and hopefully you'll make it to the finals for the big bucks. So we'll wait just a few more.
Question for
Yeah.
both contestants, if that's still allowed.
Sure. Yeah, I think we have a few minutes.
Could both Samiha and Daisy talk to us a little bit about how it is different to prepare for a speech contest happening on Zoom versus a speech contest happening in person? Did they prepare differently?
Great question. Samiha, would you like to start with that one? Answer first.
Sure. So this is my first speech contest, so I can't really say if there's a difference or not. I kind of just approached it how I would do it like normally for an in-person contest, because I mean eventually I'll probably have to like do it in person anyway. So I wanted to kind of like polish those skills beforehand.
Great. How about you, Daisy?
For me, I had to make sure my background was all cute. I know that's like not towards the speech, but that was definitely a concern for me. And then also, I had to figure out how, like, my Wi-Fi's been a problem. So that was something that I've never taken into factor for a speech. And being able to memorize a speech is something I'm good at, but being able to memorize a speech for an online competition is a lot different. And I had to take a lot more precautions when like preparing for it.
Yeah, I think you both did a great job of rolling with the punches and how we have to do things now with the shutdown. That was a challenge in general with this overall contest at district level, because some clubs are holding the first round in person. There are a few that are able to get together in small groups. Most are doing it the way that we're doing it, so there was a little more leeway this year in how we could facilitate things. But again, hopefully the plan is to have that at the district conference, which I think is now postponed a little bit until like August. But there will be a final this year. There wasn't last year, but this year we're bound and determined to do it one way or another. So looks like our judges are back in the room. Do we have a consensus? I don't know if one of the judges would like to speak or message the result or whatever, however you want to handle it.
We have a consensus.
Okay, Marcia, would you like to share that?
I guess I've been nominated to do so.
All right.
But before I do, I wanted to say we were so very impressed with both speakers. What a wonderful job both of them did. We thought the delivery was outstanding from each of them. Both of them were so exceptionally well organized and thoughtful in their presentation. And the content was just, it was outstanding. The deciding factor for us was the incorporation of the four-way test into the speech itself. And again, this was exceptionally close, but we ranked Samia second and Daisy first.
Well, I want to thank the judges, because I know that was a tough one. I was thinking when I was listening to both of the speeches, boy, to be a judge, that would be a tough decision, and they were both just awesome. And again, I think they're going to do great at the next level. So Daisy will have a check for $300 for you, and Samiha, you get a $200 check for coming in second. And again, I'll keep you both posted on the next level. But you're both moving on, and wish you luck on the next one. So thanks again. And also, as a thank you for presenting to us here at the club today, we're going to vaccinate 50 children against polio in each of your names. So your speeches do good things in a number of ways. So thanks again for joining us, and good luck with the next round. So, all right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and turn things over to our secretary. I think that's next for attendance. So.
Thank you, President Sexton. Another great meeting. These Zoom meetings are really taking off and doing well. Before I talk about attendance, I would like to talk to the two four-way test contestants. And you really, really impressed me today. I am heartened by the competitive pair of representatives that are going to district from our club in Newport, Oregon. You guys are strong contenders and you will represent us incredibly well at district. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts and your speeches with us here today. We did have 55.4% attendance, 31 out of 56. After applying the makeups, we had 38 out of 57. That's an even 2/3, 66.7% attendance. And membership incentive was Ken Riley. Sad trombones because Ken's not here today. So membership incentive next week will go up to $10, $10 big dollars. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sonia for the 50-50 raffle results.
Okay, and so today we have $80. So that means that the grand prize winner will win $40 and everybody did $5. So you all have 6 chances to win. And the grand prize winner is
Rob Weiner. Just by a squeak.
That can't be accurate. You rigged your dial, didn't you, Sonia?
All right, congrats to Rob. Do we have a social media incentive today, John?
We do, Freddie. It's the Newport Rotary Club's Mr. Technology, the Bill Gates of Newport, Jim Wendell.
All right, congrats to Jim. Does anyone have any last minute announcements before we go?
If everybody wants to look on my square, they can see the baby real quick.
Oh.
Wow, he is getting big.
The baby's big.
And we saw some first steps, or we saw some walking yesterday at the vocational meeting.
Some steps, yes, he has, but he's not declared for OSU or U of O yet, so hold your breath.
Well, Bob has plenty of time to work on them between now and then.
Yeah.
All right, well, next meeting is our March Students of the Month, and pretty good turnout today in spite of the nice sunshine outside. So hope everyone has a great rest of the week and look forward to seeing y'all next Thursday.
We have the four-way test.
Oh, four-way test. Richard, would you care to take us out with that?
I'd love to, Freddie. Rotary, the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill?
Build goodwill and better friendships.
Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?
All right, thank you, Richard, and thanks for the reminder about the four-way test. That wouldn't be a very good four-way test contest meeting if I forgot to finish off with the four-way test. So good to see everyone. See y'all next Thursday.